Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Cryptic Corner. Thank you for joining me tonight, and I hope that all is well in your little neck of the woods. What is Cryptic Corner? It's where we explore the unknown, the accursed, the hidden, the paranormal, the supernatural, and the forbidden. So thank you so much for joining me and my fantastic live audience right here watching this live from the Hive, which you can join every Saturday morning if you're down for it. So I know all these wild people are, and they are ready to go on this. So I always, when I do my show, I like to be thematic. Had you noticed? So, for July, I made sure that every episode had a certain topic. And that certain topic is sharks. Because Bree loves sharks. I do. I love sharks. And we've had walking sharks, and we've had giant prehistoric sharks, but we have not had any cryptic sharks yet this year. That's about to change. This is when I say cryptic shark, I'll be like, oh well, that's not really cryptic, but well, we'll talk about it. Let me see here. So we're going to be exploring the 1916 Jersey Shore shark attacks. So I actually found a video of somebody explaining it pretty well, actually on location. So, what are you doing, Sassy? Let's see here. Let me pull this up, and we will be on our way to adventure. What do you think? This is actually a mural on location. So let's see what these, oh yes, the channel. I always forget to plug the channel. This is Mobile Instinct. It's a huge channel. Well, 389K. That's pretty huge. R and raw level. All right. Yeah, before this, there really wasn't the idea that sharks would be like attacking people. There wasn't, it just wasn't something that was documented. I'm sure there were shark attacks before that, especially, but you know, especially in like the Polynesian population, because they have lore and stuff about shark gods and such. And should I explain what a tidal creek is? I don't think he does, but a tidal creek, it's a creek that where water leaving the groundwater on the shelf meets the tide water rising from the sea. So it's back and forth, clear and brackish water, as it depending on what type of day it is. So some days the salinities, or sometimes of day.
Train bridge, or whatever this is. 1916. This is actually the site of the 1916 shark attacks that happened here in New Jersey. This is the Matawan area where 2 people were killed, and that really sparked the common fear of sharks that we know of today. That was really the first documented shark attacks. So I wanted to come here and show you what it looks like, show you some of the locations, at least where the 2 kids were unfortunately killed. See, that's the new train bridge. I'm going to show you the old train bridge. So this is actually a tidal creek. We're about a mile or so, maybe a mile and a half from the actual...
I wish that the alerts were more in real time. That'd make that a lot easier, right? Thank you, guys.
Ocean. So what's so extraordinary is that shark had to swim up creek, all the way up here, in order to find these kids. And this is the absolute story that spawned the book and then ultimately the movie Jaws. And you will see a lot of similarities between this.
There's a lot of dead fish in this video. I guess there was some kind of blight that was hitting the local fish population that live in this brackish water. That's so native. That's near the location where the attack was. That's like a memorial, graffiti memorial to where the attack actually happened. They're gonna go show where the actual on site
story in the movie or the book. We are coming out to where the actual location is, where the kids were swimming. So I'm going to show you that first. This all started on July 1st, about 70 miles away in Beach Haven. A man named...
And you see all these stumps or whatever sticking out behind him. That's not like actual trees. That's where there used to be like docks all along this creek where people would... Maybe it was more privatized, I guess, the travel up and down the creek by little rowboats and such. More privatized, and everybody had a little dock sticking out.
And Charles Vincent was swimming in the ocean with his dog, and he was mauled by a shark. And then 5 days later, it happened again. This time about 30 miles away in the town of Spring Lake. A man named Charles Bruder was swimming, and he was...
And don't let me forget, because I have these locations marked on my Google Earth, and we're going to go look at them. And I almost forget to do my Google Earth segment.
Was mauled by a shark. But the hysteria and the absolute panic...
Yeah, look at the trees. That's actually an isopod, which, you know, I love isopods. I like the little rubber ducky isopods and all kinds of cuteness. But yeah, they're crustaceans. They fill a lot of niches.
Did not start until July 12th, 6 days later, in this area of Matawan, New Jersey, that a young 11-year-old boy was swimming with his friends, and he was also attacked. And what's amazing about that is this is 1.5 miles inland from the ocean. So that shark had to come all the way through, winding through this creek to find these boys. And I'm going to take you
was the
to
creek
where they were swimming.
So, I mean, I look at like the Mississippi right now. I live on the Mississippi. It's we're hundreds of miles from the ocean, but bear with me just to say that the Mississippi and how it is right now is not the way it was when it was even in 1916. It would have been much wider. It would have been I don't know about Matawan Creek though. I don't want to just assume, but we put in our locks and dams and channels and bridges and overpasses. We, especially with something as small as a creek, they can redirect that with an overpass quite easy.
This is the spot where the dock was, pretty much right in here where the kids were swimming. It's called the Wyckoff Docks. There's really nothing left. It was somewhere right in here, but you know, picture 105 some odd years ago. It was a very hot summer. It was during World War I. It was also during the polio epidemic.
I'd like to go kayak here, though. I'd love to. Good morning, Answers in Atheism. Go check out Answers in Atheism if you haven't.
A sea captain named Thomas Cantrell reported seeing a shark in this very creek, estimated to be 8 to 9 feet long, and his sightings were dismissed. They thought that was crazy. We're so far inland. How could that possibly be? It was not long after that 11-year-old Lester Stillwell and a few of his friends were swimming off the Wyckoff docks here. When they saw something in the water, they assumed it was a floating log, maybe a piece of trash, something in the water. And right then they saw a dorsal fin appear, and they knew that it was probably a shark. Lester Stillwell was pulled underwater.
I'm just so distracted by all these dead fish. That's not even funny. It's like, Jesus. Where's the wildlife management team looking into this?
The other kids managed to get out. They ran to the town. Now, one of those people who showed up to help the boys out was a man named Watson Fisher. He was 24 years old. He was the one who actually got into the water, swam around, and actually did find young Lester's body, was pulling the body to shore when he too was attacked by that shark.
There was something up with this shark, right? Because it doesn't stop here.
He was alive. He was brought to the hospital. Unfortunately, though, he bled to death in the hospital.
That's almost always what happens when a shark attacks a human, because we're not really like the type of food that they want, right? We're not their normal type of target. This shark, I don't know if it was lost up in here and it was starving, but yeah.
Young Lester's body was lost again, and then somewhere not too far from here, maybe within a half a mile, another kid named Joseph Dunn, a 14-year-old boy named Joseph Dunn, was also swimming with his friends. Obviously didn't know about any of this going on, and he too was attacked. However, he managed to escape the shark by the help of his friend and his brother.
They played tug of war with him and got him out of the shark's jaws.
Who actually reported to have basically a tug of war battle with the shark, and they were able to pull him to safety, and he survived.
Yeah, I do agree. Poor Lester, because Lester was, after Stanley Watson lost the body when he got attacked, the shark took it back upstream. They took the body back upstream about 150 yards. It's crazy.
So unfortunately, Lester's body went missing for another 2 days. It was recovered not too far away. You can follow my hand, follow the creek all the way down to that train bridge. There was an original train bridge. The pilings are left, and I'm going to show you that's where his body was recovered. All right, I wanted to pop in here real quick. It's a couple days later, and I came during absolute low tide. This is as low as it gets, and boy does it look different. Look at this. This is all docks.
Yeah.
All this was underwater when I was here last time, but you can
the Wyckoff docks.
You can see the boards. Look at that. So I don't know exactly where the boys were all swimming, but it was right in here. I don't know
I like looking at old docks and old wooden structures from back in old barns and things that were built in that time, back before they standardized all the board dimensions. It's so cool to see a little bit of a difference. Yeah, maybe it was a cocaine shark, you think? Well, we're in Jersey, so there's got to be, yeah. Don't they test for drugs by checking the water for trace amounts of cocaine?
To the exact area on the dock where they were, but the docks, I guess the Wyckoff docks went all the way down. And by the way, some of you may have noticed a bunch of dead fish in the background. I looked it up, and there's some virus, or there's a bacteria that the fish have, and it's not just New Jersey, it's in Connecticut, New York, it's Rhode Island. I'm guessing it has to do with states that that touch the Atlantic Ocean.
Yeah.
So that's at least clears up that mystery. Okay, back to the regular video. This is now where the hysteria starts, and the interesting comparisons between the book or the movie Jaws and the searching, the hunting for the shark. I'm going to explain all that down there at those old pilings. So Stanley Fisher was taken to the hospital, like I said. Unfortunately, he bled to death. But Lester Stillwell's body, 11-year-old Lester, was still missing. That body was basically let go by Stanley
dragged
Fisher.
All the way back upstream.
So the search was on for the man-eating shark and for Lester Stillwell's body somewhere in this creek.
That's super sad, right? Poor Lester. Just going swimming because it was hot. It's hot like it is right now. You know, I'd jump in the creek right now too if I was a 11-year-old.
From where I just was at the old Wyckoff docks. Just loops around here, or just curves around here. And this is the original train bridge here. This is all that's left, just these pilings that they actually do go across, but the high tide is coming in now, so you can't see as many. There's a lot of them. Now it's right here where Lester Stillwell's body was recovered 2 days after the attack. And during that search, and certainly after his body was found, that is when the mass hysteria started. Rumors of big sharks, rumors of people being attacked or shark encounters, people telling stories, even to the point where people were prowling this creek. And
it became like like any typical cryptozoology response that people have. Any time an animal is reported, especially one that's attacked people, right? One that's attacked children. Oh my. Yeah, so they have to go into this panic mode where all the gun-toting people are out in their boats prowling up and down the creek and along the shores, and people aren't swimming, aren't going in the water, and yeah.
Into the ocean itself, all along the East Coast, with guns, even dynamite. You see that even in the movie Jaws. In fact, if you know that movie well, you will remember the scene when Chief Brody and young Hooper are talking to the mayor, trying to convince him that he needs to close the beach, that there is a killer shark. And they even mention this, the Jersey Beach, 1916, 5 people chewed up.
Here, as long as there is food in the water. And there's no limit to what he's going to do. I mean, we've already had 3 incidents. 2 people killed inside of a week, and it's going to happen again. It happened before. The Jersey Beach, 1916, 5 people chewed up in the surf. In 1 week. Tell them about the swimmers.
It wasn't really a beach. Well, in half of the cases weren't really a beach, but it's very interesting that they mentioned that.
Well, I mean, yeah, the first 2 attacks, the ones that they're probably leaning more on, were on more of a beach location.
So, there are amazing pictures that you can see online that I will show you right now of people along the shore here with shotguns and boats with shotguns hunting for these sharks. Nobody was swimming. Beach tourism that year was down the tubes. Who wanted to go in the water? In fact, even in some areas, sunbathing was estimated to be down 70%. I believe that the mayor of Matawan, New Jersey offered $100 if anybody could.
I would say sunbathing would be down because a lot of people would come to sunbathe and bring their kids to play in the water.
Capture or kill a shark in this creek, equivalent to about $2,500 today. So a lot of people were out hunting, but unfortunately no shark was ever found in this creek. Lots of people caught big blue sharks and sand sharks, tiger sharks. Ultimately, hundreds of sharks were hunted and killed up and down the East Coast. Now, just 2 days after.
Now, both tiger sharks and bull sharks can live in brackish water for a certain amount of time. But great white sharks generally don't. But we're going to talk more in detail about that in just a minute.
After the maulings happened here, a man caught a great white not far from here in Raritan Bay. Now, what made that shark much different than the other sharks that were caught was when they cut open the stomach of that shark, they found what they reported to be 15 pounds of human flesh and bones. It may not have been the shark that came all the way upstream here, but being that it was very close by, just a few miles away, and there's a good chance that it could have been. A lot of people think that it was 2 different sharks, one down in South Jersey and another one here. There's no way of knowing anyway. There's no proof that it was either a bull shark or a great white. There's enough salinity in this creek that it's been proven or it's been said that a great white could survive in this water, at least for a certain period of time. Some people think the shark came in with the tide and it was only in here for those few hours and rode the tide back out. Who knows?
I don't know.
So
I don't know why. I honestly don't know why a great white is even consideration in these attacks. it's because they sound like a bull shark. It all sounds like a bull shark to me.
Away from where I just was is the Rose Hill Cemetery, and this is where...
Yeah, most sharks don't want anything to do with eating us. They don't want humans. Yuck. We're bony and we don't have enough fat to sustain them. But bull sharks are opportunists, so they'll come in and they just want a mouthful and they'll leave. Unfortunately.
Stanley Fisher and Leonard Stilwell are buried. So, doing my best Lamont at large impression, I'm going to show you their graves just real quick. This is the Fisher family here, and obviously he had some family members that have also passed away. And someone was nice enough to leave a pretty cool little stone.
Braver than you believe.
It says, "You're braver than you believe."
Dude jumped in the water with a shark to save a little boy. I don't even know if he really knew the boy. So yeah, this dude was like a badass. Unfortunately, it cost him his life. But yeah, I mean, what are you gonna do?
And pretty obviously, this was his mother and father's grave, right in front here. And of course, I needed to show you Lester Stilwell's grave. It's pretty much always has toys around it. It's always interesting, these people, the young kids, when they die. Even in this case, over 100 years ago, there's people that still care enough to bring things out for him.
Well, he's kind of famous.
It actually looks like his whole family's here. I believe he had two brothers, Harry and Russell. One was born in 1898 and one was born in 1899, and they both died in the 1950s. I believe these are his parents, Luella and William. They died in the 1940s. Now the weird thing about that is, I just noticed this. So they died in 46 and 44. Harry Stilwell was in World War II, which you can see from this plaque, and it looks as though he made it out of World War II, made it out alive, only to die in 1952.
Yeah, that sucks.
So it looks like by the 1950s, the Stilwell family, at least this Stilwell family, was gone. But they all were alive to see the death of young Lester Stilwell. Sad story.
It's a cool looking graveyard, though. I wonder how often the mural's maintained.
Shark mural, where I started this video. The other two people that were killed, Charles Bruder and Charles Van Sant, I don't know where they're buried. They're not buried here. I just wanted to show you the two that died in the Matawan Creek.
Mm-hmm.
And if you were wondering what happened to that shark, the one that was caught in the Raritan Bay, cut open, and the human remains were said to have been found in there, I believe the person who caught the shark had it stuffed or mounted, and it was on display in Manhattan at a store, and it disappeared. Nobody knows what happened.
That's what happens with taxidermies sometimes.
And, you know, eventually people went back to swimming here, and obviously went back to swimming in the ocean. But I'm sure in many places, especially here, that man-eating shark was probably always on their mind in some way. You know, when a fish brushed their leg or a log floated by, I'm sure it was in the back of their mind. Maybe it will be in the back of your mind next time you're swimming. Stay safe out there, because
among the dead fish,
that could happen again. Hope you like this video. Thanks for watching.
Yeah. This is, just like a travel guy, but interesting. The mystery really is, and it comes down to what species of shark it was, but great whites do get into these into these salt ponds, as we'll learn.
Have you ever heard of a great white shark swimming in a pond?
I'll be right back.
This is Kevin McMurray with TrackingSharks.com, and today we're looking at a white shark that got stuck in a lagoon. Our shark pond story starts all the way back in September of 2004. Tuck Haishi, his girlfriend, and a friend, Drew Kalila, were in search of false albacore when they approached a private island owned by the Forbes family. The group headed to the small lagoon off Nashwing Island, approaching a small bridge with 8 people standing on it. It was odd to see that many people on the bridge during the middle of the day, and the group assumed that they were just rich people having a cocktail party. Tuck saw birds diving in the water on the other side of the bridge and assumed they were after the same fish he was looking for. He and his friends approached the bridge in the 16-foot skiff. One guy was hanging a fishing line over the bridge, ostensibly to discourage me from going through, he told the Cape Cod Wave in 2014. The line didn't stop Tuck, and the bridge angler moved the fishing line without saying a word as the skiff slid under the bridge. After making it to the other side of the bridge, Tuck spotted a 4-foot fin popping out above the water. His first thought was a large basking shark was swimming around. As he headed toward the fish, his brain struggled to piece together what he was seeing. Quote, I thought it was 2 sharks. The fins were 7, 8 feet apart. I was looking at a dorsal fin almost 3 feet tall and a tail fin almost 4 feet long. I was seeing it thrash in the shallows, and you could tell it was one fish, and you could also tell it had some length to it, end quote. As he moved his skiff closer to the fish, he guessed it was a white shark nearly as long as his 16-foot boat. Just like in the movie Jaws, the shark swam right toward the side of the boat, and just before smashing into it, descended underneath and popped up on the other side. No one in the boat was scared. Instead, they were awestruck and curious as to what species of shark it actually was. At the time, the thought of seeing a great white shark in person was a true rarity. After several hours, the crew went home, and they all started calling friends, telling them about the day's experience. Tuck called several people, one of whom explained how to identify a white shark compared to a basking shark. The news confirmed what Tuck already knew. It was a great white shark in the pond. He then got in touch with videographer Adam Lazarus to see if he wanted to go out the next day and film the shark. Tuck, Lazarus, and Coella met at 5 a.m.
Look how massive that sucker is. Look at that. Oh, wow.
Lazarus wanted to film the shark, while Tuck wanted to catch it. According to Tuck, he really had no plan on catching the shark, and said he knew that he couldn't land the massive fish. However, Lazarus said his friend absolutely planned on landing the fish and was going to donate the meat to feed the homeless. The federal government protected white sharks in 1997, which explains the difference in the recollections.
Yeah,
as they
I
approached
would
the area
say
where the shark
so.
was spotted the day before, Lazarus was enjoying the view as his boatmates were scouring the water looking for the shark. Then the mood quickly changed in the boat. They both are saying, there it is. I'm looking through my camera. I'm also trying to look at real life. It's not the same as looking through a camera. All of a sudden, maybe 50 yards away, comes up a really big fin. It takes my breath away. The fins were so big, and there was such a length of distance between them.
Look how
My heart
huge
skips a
it
beat.
is.
This is exactly what I've been scared of. I'm like, fuck. I start to hear it. It's just pushing water out of the way. I started to film this, and I look, Lazarus said, adding, if I'm going to die, I don't want to be looking through a viewfinder.
Great white sharks
In another
are
Jaws moment, the shark swam
chonkers.
straight toward the boat and then submerged just before hitting it. Lazarus said it was the scariest moment of his life.
That's like,
Claiming the shark
so tiger sharks get huge too. Tiger sharks get as long, or pretty much as long. I think tiger sharks get about 18 feet, and great whites can get up to 20, some estimates 21 feet. But tiger sharks are nowhere near as bulky as a great white shark, though. They're not to downplay the mass of a tiger shark, but that just goes to show how truly massive great whites are. I don't think a bull shark would be quite spending so much time at the surface like this. Bull sharks are sneaky.
was as big, if not bigger than the boat. He said, it made me feel small out there bobbing up and down like an idiot. Lazarus said he could tell that Tuck wanted to hook the shark, and he wanted no part of it, insisting that he be dropped off on a rock so that he could be out of harm's way. As they dropped off Lazarus, another onlooker standing on the rocks took his seat on the boat, and they headed into the water as Lazarus filmed from a rock. Tuck cast his line, and after
fast
several
it's
tries, he
going
eventually hooked the
too.
shark.
Look at that.
Unfortunately, the hook caught the shark's fin. Accounts vary, but the shark was hooked anywhere from 5 to 15 minutes. I look back on it now, said Coella, knowing we only had about 6 inches of clearance between the edge of his boat and the waterline. What were we thinking? We were out there calling a great white shark, and we lived to tell about it. Earlier that same morning, Greg Scommel of the
Idiots.
Massachusetts Marine Fisheries Division was loading
I'm
his
just
boat.
going to say
He'd received
about the people trying to catch the shark, you're idiots and kind of jerks too. Yeah. Just throwing that out there because leave large sharks alone.
a call the previous day about the supposed white shark being spotted, and at first thought it was just another fishtail. Again, great white sharks were a rare sighting. At the time, the state of the white shark's population was unknown, and the only white sharks Scommel would see were dead.
See, I can't
The
get
sharks
out
were
to the
unfortunate
sea
bycatches
there.
retrieved after becoming tangled in fishermen's nets. Scommel boated out to Falmouth Harbor, where he met up with a friend who had a low-draft boat that could navigate the shallow salt pond waters. He brought fishing gear in case there was no shark, so the day wouldn't be completely wasted. Upon arriving to the scene, Scommel's eyes dilated. I knew immediately it was a great white shark, he recalled. I was almost in shock. a great white shark in this little lagoon. Greg was able to obtain a GPS tag and pin it on the shark's dorsal fin, making it the first GPS tag shark in the eastern United States. He had rushed to get the tag, thinking the shark would exit the pond at any moment.
Yep, see the
Each high
tag
tide
on
and
its
full moon
back
brought
there.
hope that the shark would head out. The news of the shark spread quickly, and before long, people were everywhere trying to catch a glimpse of the massive fish swimming in the salt pond. Some curiosity seekers were approaching the area in dinghies and kayaks, far smaller than the shark. Charter boat companies began ferrying hundreds of paying customers to see the shark, charging $100 a trip to $100 an hour to see the shark. Aerosmith guitarist Joe Perry chartered a boat with his family to witness the spectacle, along with visitors coming all the way from Canada. Scullman knew this was going to get worse, and with a call to the State Game Commission, the state quickly passed a regulation to protect the 13-foot
That's
shark.
cool, majestic
Officials enforced a
feedback.
control zone to keep people away from the shark and place signs around the area warning people not to harass the fish.
14 feet
So the shark
long.
spread across-
I don't know if you all understand how, well, I shouldn't, I'm like patronizing you. 14 feet is absolutely ginormous. I mean, 14 feet is as long as the hive is this way. Oh my gosh. And then the bulk of it, it's bigger around than your average barrel.
across the globe, and everyone involved was inundated with calls from the media. People were so enthralled with the story that they started calling the shark Gretel. 13 days later, Gretel was still in the pond, and Skolma was at a loss for how to get it out of the tiny pond. The stress was palatable, and Greg was suffering from sleepless nights and threats from people demanding the shark be saved. Skolma was all for saving the shark. The question was how? How do you make a big shark leave a tiny pond? Fishing lines were immediately rolled out. Along with lassoing the tail, the last resort would be to sedate the shark, which could be fatal for it. Bait bags full of fish burley didn't work either. The shark just would not go for it and aimlessly circled the pond. Thankfully, Daniel McKieran, assistant director of the division...
What you need to do is get a seal and put it in a little shark cage and drop that down. Maybe that'll help.
Fisheries came up with an idea of using large fishing nets called weirs. The fishing weir consisted of nets moved by several different boaters. As the shark hit the net, it would just bounce off. As the shark neared the exit, the team used pumps to spray water at the shark, corralling it toward the exit. The water jets and nets worked, and the shark finally slipped across some shallow rocks and off to freedom for a moment. The shark went around the island and into the shallow Lackey's Bay. Back to the pumps. The team used the water pumps to guide the shark back out to sea, and there were high fives all the way around. Unfortunately for Skolma and the rest of the scientists interested in the tracking data, the attack knocked off 45 minutes after the shark left.
Rescue
Everyone involved
sharks.
felt a little easier knowing they'd helped rescue the salt pond shark. The event played
I
such a part
know.
in Skolma's life that he actually
Great
asked his
whites
wife
are
to marry him in the same
adorable,
location.
Tsunami. You want to boop them, don't ya? A seal and a hamster ball. Yeah, they're cute. I like their little snoots. Great white sharks.
And that is the story of the white shark stuck in a pond, but it's not the first. In 1954, another white shark was caught in a salt pond 2 miles away. Unfortunately, it was killed. Gretel's salvation shows how much people's perceptions of white sharks have changed in the last 50 years.
Yeah.
What would you do if you ran across a white shark in a salt pond? Let us know in the comments. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up and subscribe.
Swim
Comment
with
what
it.
you'd like us to cover next. Support us at patreon.com/trackingsharks. Give us the super things. Join us on Facebook, Twitter @trackingsharks, and visit us online at trackingsharks.com. Thank you, and as always, stay safe and get wet soon.
All right. You guys ready to dive into the locations? We are going to go on location to the different places associated with the Jersey Shore shark attacks. The first place that we have here is what's this, Beach Haven, right? Where's my marker at? One of my favorites. There we go. So there's a wildlife area down here. And I'm not really sure where along this little strand he was swimming. He was swimming with a dog though, so there's also, I mean, this is all water up in here too, so you got to keep that in mind. There's like a lagoon back here. There's the Great Bay. And then the second attack was further up, right here. It was a bellhop from this hotel. It's a condominium now, the Essex and Sussex. It was a hotel at the time, and he worked there. He was Swiss. He was out here swimming, and unfortunately, yeah, the shark got a hold of him. This could have been, yeah, it could have certainly been a great white, but I don't think that a bull shark's out of the question for the full slew of attacks. This little river here is called the Shark River. This one right here, there's Shark River. It's pretty wide up here, and yeah, it goes the creek, and it goes all the way back up inland, back up into here if you follow it. But it's called the Shark River. This area is called Shark River Hills. It's, I don't know if they're leaning into the shark attacks or if those things had their names before, but there you have it. All right, and then lastly, let's go up here and look at good old Matawan Creek and seeing how close together this is to that. I mean, maybe the same shark. It's Sandy Hook Bay. And then we have Matawan Creek comes up right here. That's the headwater, and it comes all the way down under the highway, under the train bridges and pylons and stuff. And we get all the way down here, and that's where it opens up. But the man-eater mural's right here. I believe the Wyckoff docks that he was exploring. Yeah, there they are, right there. And so that's the mural, the docks, and the second attack was down further down here. The one that the kid survived. But yeah, these waters are pretty far down the way, and I mean, it doesn't matter what the channel looks like, there's still not a lot of room to wiggle in. So I'm still going with bull shark for this cryptid. I think that the Matawan man-eater was a bull shark. I'm almost 100% sure on that. I don't think it was a great white, despite the fact that great whites can get stuck in salt ponds and things. I just don't see one traveling that far upstream. It just doesn't seem likely to me. It seems more likely and more realistic that a fish that can swim up a that can thrive in brackish water. Because keep in mind, bull sharks live in like rivers and lakes and stuff. There's a lake in Nicaragua that they just thrive in. There's lakes in Africa and rivers in Africa that they live alongside hippos and crocodiles. Bull sharks are all right in pretty much fresh water, at least for some time. So if you go to Matawan Creek, remember Wendy's is right there. Sorry, I forgot took down the thing. It's so weird that it's like showing me where Wendy's is. It's like, also if you go here's Wendy's. Like, I don't have any other indication that I'm looking for food or anything. Just looking for shark attacks. Anyway, that was our cryptic corner for today. Pretty fun stuff. Man-eating sharks. Let me see here. I grew up with the culture that if an animal killed one human, then that animal should never ever show up in a human settlement again. Yeah, they should track them down and hunt them. They hunt them down. Man-eaters. Do sharks do well with being netted? Don't they have to swim forever or die? Yeah, I mean they'd be suffocating the whole time they were in the net, right? Oh, I guess I should answer more questions. So what is cryptic about sharks? Well, this shark is, we don't know what species it was. That's what's cryptic about it. There's a mystery about it. Some people say it was a great white. Some people say it was a bull shark or tiger shark. There's a lot of this cryptic shark, some mystery species. We don't know what it was. There was a shark caught that allegedly had some human flesh in its stomach. Was that the shark? We don't know. So that's why this made it into Cryptic Corner, the mystery. The bellboy needed last one eaten by the shark. Apply at Seafront Hotel next to Shark River. Yeah. I mean, there's a little bit of irony there if that river was named before that. They hang out in mangroves here, yes. Bull sharks are, they'll just all of a sudden shoot out of the depth like a crocodile and grab you when you're up in the shallows. and it will, yeah, they're sneaky dudes. Exactly. Tiger problem in India is worse. Well, tigers evolved alongside humans to see us as a food source. So we're like their natural food, right? We're like their target demographic. We are on the menu. Same thing with like Nile crocodiles. They evolved in Africa alongside hominids. We are just food to them. Listen, the leopards and the tigers are justified chomping on the occasional person. They should maybe just try to go for Modi, not random people on the sig break at work. Yeah. All right. So I'm going to wrap up Cryptic Corner there. We are right at the top of the hour. So we kind of nailed our time slot, which is excellent. So kudos and cheers for everybody who is in the side chat here or watching this live at home. Or not watching, yeah, watching this live at home. There's nobody else here but me watching this. And for you guys, yeah, watching this on Friday night with my Cryptic Corner, I love you most of all. You are my special, special people that hang out and are into weird stuff like mystery sharks and all that goodness. All right. Please remember to be kind. Take care, and we will see you next time.